Those are the people you need to target.
Justice, right? People are looking for, I want to stand on the right side.
Get some really sick stuff on Twitter.
So let's talk about Israel advocacy and social media. So did you see, I love that the official State of Israel handle got replied to by Elon Musk. Actually, I posted that on LinkedIn. So I just get people to understand, like, the fun is on Twitter. And it's an amazing platform, and I'm actually really excited where Elon's going to take it. But putting that aside, let's say, how can one actually do Israel advocacy and Zionism? You know, they got a full-time job and just like kind of on the side because they're passionate and they care. What do you recommend for people that, let's say, want to be able to support Israel publicly? By publicly, of course, I mean online. Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you don't really need a lot of followers to go viral on Twitter. So, you know, the famous tweet of the plane that landed on the Hudson, that famous picture that the entire world saw. People don't know this, but the person who took that picture was part of the rescue team who had about, I don't know, less than 100 followers on Twitter. That picture got 90 million views, listen carefully, before CNN even knew there was a plane crash. Okay?
Right. Yeah. So everything breaks on Twitter.
Right. So
breaking
Twitter is great for content going viral. People that follow me, like Ellen, like Alyssa Milano, have millions and millions of followers. All it takes is one retweet from them. And the only way that these people are going to retweet you, not these people, but in general, is if you have good content. So if you want to do Israel advocacy, you know, set yourself, you know, a goal or let's say allocate an hour a day or even a half an hour a day where all you do is you spread truth on social media. Forget, you know, followers, forget that hashtags, forget that. Share truth, share content, and let Twitter do its thing.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So what keeps people motivated? They're like going to do this. Let's say they're going to spend, okay, I'm going to spend 30 minutes a day posting on social media, let's say Twitter in particular. Like, and they're like, okay, they feel like they're getting no traction. I mean, after 30 days, they'll just say, well, this isn't a good use of my time. We're saying that it actually matters, actually the quality of the views. So people say, oh, I'm not getting traction. If you're actually just posting for the only reason is just for people to be able to get in. So with your intention of, let's say, going viral or getting as many people to see things as possible, instead of, let's say, just saying, putting out truth out there, then you're going to end up getting frustrated because you're not going to reach your goals. However, right. It's kind of like it's kind of like follow the process, not this, follow the system, not right systems, not goals, so to speak. And so if your system is putting out truth, eventually you'll break through. But if your goal is to go viral, you just get frustrated. Because I was saying that if we get, you know, if you put out a video and it gets 67 views, you know, those are 67 real people. And if I know they're relevant and they're subscribers, that's fantastic. That was long form content of video, of conversation that they heard that's actually going to change how they think. And they're going to go ahead and work that into their conversations, maybe to their own social media. And so you'll actually be able to spread a lot of good. And I think that's actually a great way to do it. But most people seem like they're avoiding that altogether. When it comes to social media, why do you think people are so scared to speak up? Do you think, like you were saying before we got on, right? Your post this morning that went viral from the terrorist attack, all the anti-Semitism that's on there, right? As an example. That in of itself, do you think that prevents people from actually doing any kind of Israel advocacy?
It's an interesting,
like demoralized.
It's an interesting question. So I actually had a conversation with Arsen Ostrovsky the other day, who is probably the top Israel, you know, advocacy expert on Twitter. And I said to him, I'm like, dude, I have so much respect for you because, like, how do you not get tired? Like, you know, all the trolls, you know, and so not everyone's cut out for this. And I got to be honest with you, I'm not cut out for it. A lot of times I take this stuff really personally. I get some really sick stuff on Twitter. So I use the block and report button a lot. But it definitely is demoralizing. It definitely is not easy. But at the end of the day, here's the kicker. You know, if you use social media, by the way, this applies to business and to advocacy. If you use social media as a broadcast platform to just like post things and leave, then you're not going to have success. But if you're doing this right, you know, when it comes to Israel advocacy, you're sharing things, but you're also engaging with, you know, the people out there. But, and this is so crucial, you have to know who you're engaging with. No point in engaging with someone who's just a blatant Nazi or like a blatant Jew hater. Like, you're not going to convince them. Don't even waste your time. You know, and you don't need to convince the people that are already on your side, because then you're preaching to the choir. They're the people in the middle that are on the fence. Those are the people that are listening.
I would say they're on the fence. They're largely ignorant, and they'll just believe whatever they read as face value.
Right. I'm saying, but you can educate them. You can give them actual facts, because I don't know of a single conflict in the history of the world where there was so much historical fabrications and lies. But I'm not talking about opinions here. Okay, we can have opinions on the conflict. If you're going to tell me that an Arab-Palestinian state ever existed in the history of the world, you're just blatantly lying. That never existed. And if you think it existed, kindly tell me when it was established and who the prime minister was, what the currency was, what the national anthem was. It did not exist. So the fact that people are saying Israel occupied an Arab-Palestinian land is just a blatant lie. And so, you know, you can try to convince these people that believe in lies or Israel's an apartheid state. You know, the Muslim citizens of this country have more free rights in Israel than they have in any other country, any other Muslim country in this entire region. So if you're going to call Israel an apartheid state, you're not listening. And I'm not going to convince you otherwise. But there are people who hear this apartheid crap, and if you show them the actual facts, presumably, hopefully, they will listen. Those are the people you need to target.
Do you think facts work better than emotional? I feel like emotional appeal works better than facts, particularly when it comes to, let's say, the as we call it, people in the middle on the fence, the ignorant.
It's an interesting question because I think it should be a combination of both. Right?
I think that's why Israel doesn't do so well. It's because we try to use facts and logic, and that's not, you know, this. Humans don't respond to that. Humans respond to emotions, right? Facebook said the most engaged posts are ones that get people angry. Ironically, right? Like it's, and that goes for all social media, but they were looking at like what responses had the hardest engagement with it. Maybe facts. I'm not saying we should avoid facts a lot. We don't have to. Facts are on our side. Jews are the indigenous people of the land of Israel for thousands of years. But like, do you think more of emotional appeal? Like, kind of, shouldn't we spit it back in a sense, like judo it and been like, actually, we've been here for thousands of years. Here's proof. You're actually, you know, you're trying to steal my land. I'm indigenous. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to, oh, here are the facts. You know, according to international law, Israel, you know, like, you know, great, international law is on our side too. But it does, people don't care because there isn't that emotional appeal. There isn't a sense of like justice, right? People are looking for, I want to stand on the right side of history. I want to stand with justice. And people don't really care for facts and logic. I think that has to be like 5% of the population.
Right. So I think it's probably a combination of both. In other words, you can't just go with emotion and not, you know, talk about facts, because facts are facts and they're important. Having said that, there's a way to communicate facts, and that's with emotion. So it has to be a combination of both, I think.
Got it. Awesome. Hillel, Fuld, if you were to leave people with kind of like a couple tips on, let's say, specifically if someone wanted to better understand technology in Israel and what's going on and how things are exploding here, with the exception of following you, which I'll ask how we can, what do you think is the best way for people to kind of stay in touch and get to know what's going on actually on the ground, and not necessarily just, you know, random headlines of this company raises this amount of money?
Right. So I think, you know, there are quite a few leading publications that cover Israeli tech. Obviously, there's Kalkalis, there's Forbes Israel, there's the Marker Globes. Israel, there's Globes, Jerusalem Post, you know, the Times of Israel, No Camels, Israel 21C. There's quite a few. But then again, you could also read, you know, the global press like TechCrunch and literally just search Israel and see, you know, what's happening. But I think the answer to the question really is following the right people on social media at the end of the day.